everyone, my name is Ren Ai, and for those who didn't know, I've actually been taking a module called Biodiversity in Singapore for this past semester, and as part of this module, I've actually had to come into contact up close and personal with insects. And I think many of you guys might be cringing at the mention of this word insects, and you're not alone because I was one of you. And I had this fear of insects even though I was coming into this module, and I had to constantly psych myself that I wasn't afraid, I was going to touch this, I would do this for the grades, I would do it. But over time I came to actually wonder, where does this fear come from? Why do we fear insects? Because many people that I've talked to actually cannot pinpoint a reason. Oh, they're disgusting, they're just dirty, I just don't like them. But are those valid reasons? Where does the fear really come from? I mean, you guys would know that I study sociology, and I believe that most things are actually really social constructs. So this fear that we have of insects does not necessarily come from ourselves, but maybe something that we have been socialized with, that we have been made to internalize from just what society says or what we have been exposed to. And so this module really gave me a sort of awakening, and I really wanted to share this with you guys, not only because catching insects in your house is a very useful life skill, but also we are really missing out so much, when you go out on those hikes, people who claim to be nature lovers. But when was the last time you actually held an insect? When was the last time you looked at an insect without flinching or screaming or having the urge to flick it away? So in this video, I am going to be filming the journey of some participants, lucky participants that I have selected, and I'll be taking them through the process of catching, identifying, getting up close and personal with insects, pinning them, and let's just follow them through their journey. So what first comes to mind when you think of the word insects?
I find that insects are something that I must get rid of, and something that I don't want in my home, something repulsive.
Okay, so how do you feel about having to catch them?
I cannot imagine myself going near insects and catching them for any other purpose other than to get rid of them. So, I will try to avoid contact with insects if possible.
Sounds like you have a huge fear of insects, but why do you fear insects?
They just, I have always feared insects because they give me a weird feeling, like cockroaches, flies, quite always uninvited guests in the home.
How about butterflies? Are they slightly better or are they the same?
Yeah, butterflies are pretty, they're nice to look at, but to catch them, that's another, or to touch them, that's another story. Yeah,
Okay, let's go catch some insects and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so how do you feel about insects? What is your perception of them?
Well, I think we always consider insects dirty, and therefore we will not want to get near to them, or even we see one, we're trying to kill them.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a year 4 business student studying at NUS Business School.
Okay, so when you think of the word insects, right, what comes to your mind?
I think of like smaller insects, like ants, beetles, creepy crawlies, mosquitoes. Yeah, the smaller kind.
Okay, what do you think of them?
I don't really like them, but I would say if I don't have to touch them, I'm okay. Like if they just do their own thing and leave me alone, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But I don't want to touch insects.
Okay, but why do you think you're scared of them?
I don't know, like since young they just been portrayed in a very bad way. Like I don't know, like seems as if like they carry like diseases and they're very dirty. They've like climbed across all the different surfaces that you don't know. Yeah.
Alright, how do you feel about having to catch insects with me?
I'm very scared and I hope that I don't have to touch them.
Okay, we'll see. Hey, hi Sean. So what are your thoughts about insects?
My first instinct when I see insects are to kill them. I'm not very fond of insects.
Okay.
I'm generally okay with it unless they sting or they come and attack me, then I'll run far away.
Okay. So why are you scared of insects? Like what about them makes you fear them?
I'm not sure. I just don't like the feeling of them crawling on my body and being in their presence and not really knowing what they are going to do.
Okay, so like
the bug that's crawling up my leg right now.
where's the bug? Okay, so basically if I could sieve it out, you're kind of like scared of the unknown lah, cause you don't know them, that's why you fear them.
Probably. Even if I know they are harmless, I'm okay with their presence, but I will not be okay with them on me.
Okay. So as long as they don't disturb you, you can, okay. Okay, but I guess today we'll try to see if you want to make friends with them.
Okay, let's make friends with some insects.
But before that, let's just do a very brief and simple introduction to the profile of butterflies. What exactly are these? So on a more technical note first, butterflies belong to a group of insects known as Lepidoptera. Like all insects, butterflies have a head, thorax, abdomen, 2 antennae and 6 legs. Additionally, they have 4 wings that are covered by coloured scales, which actually look and feel like dust. So actually, if you happen to touch their wings, these scales might rub off on your fingers and feel like dust. Butterflies also have this coiled proboscis for drinking liquids. And I think one other very common question that people ask me is, how do we know if this flying thing is a moth or a butterfly? Because they kind of look the same to me. Well, one easy way to distinguish it is by its proboscis, as well as the distinct clubbed antennae that butterflies have. And usually butterflies fly in the day and are usually brighter coloured than moths, though not always. So with that, let's go straight into it. Okay, so I need to teach you how to use this net first. So there's this thing called sweep netting, right? So basically, you know an infinity sign?
Yeah.
So just do like this, like this motion. You can sweep through the grass patch, or you can go to patches like this and do this. Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, you just have to, if anything inside here, right, you just hold it straight because insects only like know how to fly up. So basically, you just grab this part here and then see if anything is in this portion here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now you try. Okay.
Infinity.
I saw some butterflies there.
Is that a butterfly?
Okay. No, don't fly. Oh, you got it. Sorry. I got it.
Yes, I got it.
You got a butterfly.
Yes, but it's not a butterfly.
I mean, okay, we can take it out and see what it is. So basically now, right, okay, this is your butterfly right here. So once you get it right, for butterflies, you can try to clip their wings first. Like you're doing this to a butterfly. And then you lightly like squeeze its abdomen.
So I just squeeze it, is it?
You hold its wings first.
Oh, its wings.
Okay. The thing about butterflies is that like it's quite delicate and
Okay.
you have these things in their wings that might rub off if you press them too hard. So gently press the wings
Yeah.
and then squeeze the abdomen a bit.
Abdomen?
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh
Abdomen.
my. Oh no. I pressed it.
Okay, let go. Okay, now
Yeah.
okay. There's blood now.
Oh
Anyway,
no.
so now we just need to transfer it. It shouldn't be able to fly anymore. Okay, see, it's here.
It's already. Oh,
Oh, it's this. Hey, quite nice. Eh?
yeah.
Can you try holding it? Okay, the wings.
It's not poisonous.
Hurry up!
now put it in first. Okay, right, keep it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we're just on the way back from our second trip to the NUS Museum, and this time, look at how many grass yellows we managed to catch. I think there are at least 6 in here. Good job.
It shows for the
Actually, I can't find anymore. I think it's a moth. I can try. Actually, quite furry. Yeah.
Okay, finally caught one
Yeah.
piece. One letter.
You can put it inside the jar.
One letter. And that's
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yay. Is it there? Okay.
2,000 years later.
Wow, so she caught she did it. She caught this we're gonna see what it is now. Okay, so basically we didn't manage to catch the filming process because we suddenly saw something flying, and so Sean caught this on his first try.
Yes, first try.
Okay, now let's try to take it out and see what
now
it
an
is.
insect lover.
That's so fast. Wow.
So I'm very happy to show you my first catch.
Uh-huh.
I have named it Otter Free. Although it's not very free anymore.
It is. It was crushed by us.
Yes,
I mean only
crushed
it's
by
like
us.
dormant, yes.
Yes. But it's okay. All in the name of science. So thank you for the sacrifice.
Okay, so now we are going into a segment called pinning, and pinning is quite important because that's how we preserve this butterfly.
Okay.
So I'm just going to use the forceps to take one out. Like this, and I'm going to try to hold the body with my hands. So first I'm going to test if the wings are hydrated, because if it's too dry, the specimen will break very easily. I'm going to just test whether it's bendable. Yeah, so basically it is fine. It can spread, means that it is quite hydrated. So now I'm going to proceed to pin it in its thorax. Okay, so I've gotten it in its thorax right now. The next step I'm gonna do is to put it in the groove right here, with the body in its groove. Just like this. Now that it's in the middle, I'm going to try to spread open its wings like this. So how I want to pin the wings down is that it should be symmetrical to the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use just a strip of paper. And first I'm going to just secure the paper on both sides, just as a preliminary step. Just so that it doesn't move. So next what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the forceps, grab it gently by the coastal margin and shift it upwards. Shift the forewing upwards. Then I'll lower it down and I'll use a pin to secure it in place. Once the forewing is secured, I'm going to position the hind wing as well, and to secure it in place. Once one side is done, you can move on to the other side. So same thing, I'm just going to put it down like this, and I'm going to just secure the paper so that the wings don't move. It gives me a good base to work with. Now using the forceps again, I'm just going to again grab it by its coastal margin, which is the top part right here, gently, and pull it upwards. This is to make sure that the butterfly hydrates and it's in shape. So if you want to keep it for your collection, it will still look quite aesthetic. So now we just have to wait for perhaps a few days for the specimen to dry, and then we can take it out and see how it looks like. Okay, so now it's your turn to try the pinning. Okay, I'll test you a bit. Do you remember the name of this butterfly?
Yellow grass. Yellow grass, right?
Try again.
Grass yellow.
Correct. Okay, so now you're trying to just spread the wings and see if it's still hydrated. Yep, correct. Okay,
Yeah.
correct. Now you can pin it to its thorax. You may need to push it down a bit more so that it can fit into the groove. Yeah,
Like this?
okay, yeah. Now put it into the groove. Correct. Okay, nice. Now, okay, you can start off with one side first. Okay, that's good. Now you can try to pull the wing up a little bit if it's not yet perpendicular to the body. Now you can try it for the other side. Okay, I think you're doing a good job.
Okay.
Let's just put the hind wing in place.
Done.
Okay, show the camera you're pinning. You should be proud of yourself. With your what's this butterfly?
Grass yellow.
Correct, yes. Okay, so he's prying open the wings right now to pierce the needle to the thorax. Now you can spread the wings.
Very nice, too.
Yeah, much better. The wing is spread out.
This butterfly you see right here is called the tawny coaster, and it's the male tawny coaster. That's why it's a deep orange. The female tawny coaster would be a lighter shade of yellow. And male butterflies are generally more brightly colored to attract the females. So this one here on its coastal region, which is essentially this outer lining right here, is black, and its turban, which is this bottom portion right here, a little bit of it has been chipped off while handling, but we can see that it has a black marginal band and a series of some white spots, which you might be able to see more clearly on this hind wing right here. Now I'm going to show you its underside of the wings, and you'll be able to see that there are actually also black dots on the underside of its wings, and that there are also these yellow and white, pale yellow and white kind of spottings on its thorax. Now this pinning is not perfectly done. It was actually done by my dad, and I think it's not too bad of a attempt for a first timer here. The tawny coaster is super common in Singapore, but interestingly, it's not even a native species, so these guys actually have a really cool story. This tawny coaster was initially known to be a common butterfly in India and Sri Lanka, but by the early 80s it made itself a resident species in Thailand and subsequently in Penang in 1993. It was finally spotted in Singapore in 2006. So this butterfly really is the epitome of making yourself comfortable in someone else's home. The plentiful availability of its host plant could be one of the reasons for the rapid spread of the tawny coaster across Singapore. Also, fun fact, because the tawny coaster is distasteful to predators like birds, this also gives it a better chance of survival. Okay, so this is the grass yellow, and this pinning was actually done by my mom. So it's very hard to miss this butterfly actually. Its bright yellow wings are its distinctive feature, and upon closer inspection it has a black bordering on the upper side of its wings. This grass yellow is abundant in Singapore, and in our lingo, very basic. It can be found commonly not only in NUS, but also throughout Singapore. There are actually 5 variations of this species, and when it's in flight, they are almost indistinguishable. But at least you'll know its species when you see it. Here we can see some common hedge blues flying around, and from this footage, you'd be able to tell that butterflies have a very erratic fluttering pattern. This method of flying is unique to butterflies, and it's actually a defense mechanism, as it makes it very hard for their predators to predict their movements. It also means it's quite challenging to catch them on camera, apart from the few moments when they are actually still. So this is a butterfly that I really wanted to mention, even though me and my participants didn't manage to catch any on footage. But this is another butterfly that's very hard to miss. It's called the painted Jezebel, and it's usually seen flying at the tree canopy level. And they do occasionally come down to feed on nectaring flowers, but unfortunately we didn't manage to spot them doing that. So this painted Jezebel is another very common butterfly in Singapore. So above, the upper side of its wings are white, with these black dusted towards the outer margins. And on the hind wing right here, you can see that the basal or bottom half is bright yellow, and the marginal border here is bright orangey red. So the cool thing is that the distinct red and yellow colors on its wings act as warning signals to predators. So if you happen to see these painted Jezebels flying around, do appreciate them for their beauty. Remember, like the first time I interviewed you,
Yeah.
I recall you saying that really hate insects, right? Or dislike insects.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I dislike insects.
So after the whole process of catching the insects and learning how to pin them, have your thoughts changed, or have you learned anything new from this experience?
Well, I still do not like insects very much, but I think I'm not as fearful as before. I know how to handle them without great fear.
Yeah. To be fair, like
That's right.
just 1 or 2 times is not enough to get rid of the fear of insects, but it's like quite good improvement already considering.
Yes, at least I dare
Yeah.
to touch it now. I mean, I have never thought that I would be able to even hold a butterfly.
How do you feel about butterflies now? Like, do you see more of their beauty now that you have seen them like close as compared to just like seeing them fly around?
I do see them as more intricate, creatures. I wouldn't have dared to touch the wings and all that. But, after being forced to do it, I think I've overcome a bit of the fear. Yeah.
So after catching the insects, has your perception of insects changed a bit?
Well, in the past, I don't pay a lot of attention to them. But now that I saw the butterflies, they are lovely, although they're small. But I get to love them because, you see how they're transformed. And also other insects along the way that I've seen. And I realized there's nothing to frighten about them.
Okay. Okay, Rachel, so after going through the experience, how is your perception of insects right now?
At first I was really scared, but I think Ren Ai did a good job of like comforting me and telling me what are the steps that I needed to take to catch the butterfly. So in the end I managed to catch one small butterfly, and I think that was a big step because in the past I used to scream and run away. So now I think being able to catch even one small butterfly is a great achievement. So I think the next time when I look at butterflies I won't be so scared. I will think back about this memory and realize that they're not actually scary. It's just something that it's just an irrational fear that I had. So I'm grateful for this experience.
Thanks. Hi Sean, how do you feel about the whole experience?
I'm very happy. We caught 4 insects. So we have an orange butterfly, yellow, a green one, and a praying mantis as well.
Yay!
It's really great.
Okay, how do you feel about insects now?
I'm not sure if my feelings for them have changed.
Okay,
But I do appreciate their beauty a lot more.
okay,
And
that's
how
great.
intricate they are. But I still don't want them in my house.
Oh no, okay, it's okay. Perhaps like through more future sessions of catching insects.
Perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah.
So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it taught you a little something about insects, caused you to challenge or to question where your fear comes from. But disclaimer, I do think that just 1 or 2 times of catching insects and interacting with them is definitely not enough. I think we need exposure, we need continuous exposure to insects in order to slowly get rid of this fear and to start appreciating them for the wonderful beings, creations that they are. So perhaps the next time you go on a hike or to a park, or even if you see insects in your home or on the toilet, that you just stop yourself for a moment before you scream. To ask yourself, where does this fear come from? What about them disgusts you or scares you? And I know many of my friends watching this are very passionate about inequality and marginalized groups. Well, have you ever thought that insects really are very marginalized? They are hated by people, they are demonized, people scorn them, and yet very little people speak up for them. So if you are someone who cares for the marginalized, the invisible, then perhaps you could think about getting to know insects a bit better, to make them a bit more visible in a world that scorns them. So thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you learned something. questions, or if you would want to go on a insect catching or insect appreciation